Good evening, everybody. I'm Jacqueline Sustaita, President of the Weslaco ISD School Board, President of the Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees. This special meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice of this workshop has been posted online for at least 72 hours. A recording of this workshop is being made and will be available to the public at a later date, and we are live on YouTube. The time is now 5:39 p.m., and I'll call this workshop to order. I'll now begin the roll call. Trustee Castillo?
Present.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Present.
Trustee Nieto? Trustee De Los Santos?
Present.
Trustee Cuellar?
Present.
Trustee Trevino? And myself, Jacqueline Sustaita, are here. A quorum is not required for a board workshop, but this is a church. No, it's meeting, but it says workshop on here. Let me fix my script. This is not a workshop. A quorum is required for a special meeting. This is not a workshop. This is a special meeting, and we do have a quorum. Now we'll move on to item number 3, public comments.
There are none.
Okay. Item 4, discussion and possible action. We have 4A, discussion and possible action to consider approval of an order calling for the November 5, 2024 Weslaco Independent School District School Board election. 4B, discussion and possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval of, number 1, administration's ranking recommendation on the proposals received for.
Well, why not just the order?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Madam Board President, I'll make a motion to approve item 4A.
All right.
Second.
Any discussion? We'll go
No,
ahead.
I think, well, I just want to make a comment. I think that on there, I think we added Stephen F. Austin.
Yes.
Is going to be open. And just for clarification as well, I just wanted to announce that we will not have kids on those sites that day, because we'll have a
Exactly.
professional learning day.
Yes.
And just sometimes the community, they ask, well, why is that? Why are we closing down school on a Tuesday? And I think it's good that the district's taking the extra measure for safety for those students as well, and also for the people that are there, that are going out there to exercise their right. And then Stephen F. Austin is a site that when it was removed last time, I found out just how important it was to people. It's kind of a tradition for people that go there, and so I'm really glad that it's put on there, and I'm excited that it was placed as well too. So
Thank you.
And I just wanted to note there too that it's exciting that we're putting out this information. We're opening up these seats, and I just wanted to take the spot, steal a minute from that, and tell you all that it's here we are coming now a full turn 4 years later, and it has been amazing, all the challenges and the successes we've had coming in year 1 with COVID-19 and addressing those issues, and seeing empty campuses and kids and students at home and our staff at home, and then having to transition them back, and all those challenges that each and every one of you faced. You know, a medical Garza coming up with the HEPA filters that were portable, and how that was a easy solution to create a much safer environment, and just all the successes that we've had. So I'm really glad that we're at this moment, and I really look forward to signing up, and hopefully the community will give me the opportunity and the blessing and the permission to remain in this seat and to keep serving. So really excited about that. And I want to thank you all for everything you've done, and all the accomplishments that you have as well too, because there's many. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, 4 years went by really quick.
Yes.
All right, go ahead and take it to a vote. Trustee Rodriguez? My brain's-
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar?
Aye.
Trustee Castillo?
Aye.
Trustee De Los Santos?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. On to 4B, discussion and possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval of, number 1, administration's ranking recommendation on the proposals received for the HVAC upgrade project for 3 elementary schools, which are Memorial Elementary, Airport Elementary, and Northbridge Elementary, CSP number 24-06-40, and number 2, to authorize the administration to negotiate and approve the contract.
Motion to approve
Approve what?
items 1 and 2. Is it 4B 1 and 2?
4.1 is to the proposal received,
Right.
the recommendation.
Right, the recommendation for the companies, and then also for the district to go ahead and move forward with negotiations.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Are we gonna say
Discussion?
who gets it?
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Yes, there's discussion after. Yes. Go ahead.
What's that?
Somebody online?
That's how my
Was that
brain
your
feels
walk-up
right
music?
now. I'm
You had walk-up music.
Yeah. Yes.
when the podium is gone. Okay.
We have the motion, and who was selected?
That,
Recommended?
well, he
No,
didn't
well,
say
now,
it was
well,
recommended.
now. Oh, you had to still say it? I thought we were just, that you discuss after.
Yeah, so.
Now, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He
Who are the
discusses now.
recommendations?
Okay,
See.
for Memorial and Airport is Carrier. For North Bridge is Quantum Mechanical Contractors.
Right.
The two recommendations.
Could I ask a couple questions? Is that okay?
Yes, yes, we need discussion now.
On the carrier recommendation, that's the straight up, company, right? That's not a.
Good evening, members of the board. It's been 2 long months before we were here telling you what we were going to do.
Right.
We were able to successfully finish the drawings and take them out to bid. And the bids came in pretty close to what we estimated, pretty close. We wanted to be between 10, 11, and maybe 12 million, and we were there. The original plan was to, because of the size of the project, or the projects, we wanted, as previously discussed, to assign one contractor per school so that we don't have any hiccups. And if we have hiccups in one, it doesn't carry on to the other one. That was the way it was presented. However, the bids came in, and Carrier was actually a low bid on the two projects that they actually bid. And then the third highest ranked was Quantum. So administration, presented to y'all what the bids came out and how the rankings came out, and they assigned one school to Carrier, or 2 schools to Carrier and 1 to Quantum. Now, what is my recommendation? That is the way the rankings came out, but that's by no means my recommendation. I don't agree to assign 2 projects because of the size of the project and the complexity to one contractor. As I mentioned earlier, I don't want the issues of one school to carry over onto another one. However, there is a big price difference if we choose an alternate path, the path that I've always recommended since the onset, which to choose the 3 highest ranked contractors and assign one school accordingly. That's what I would recommend. However, we can discuss what the cost difference or implications are for that. We try as much as we can to dig and see who they're going to be using so that we can see how qualified they are. Some contractors were unwilling to give us who their subcontractors were going to be, which poses somewhat of a mystery until they are chosen.
Is that carrier?
No, that was Quantum. Carrier did offer who their mechanical contractor was going to be.
There's gonna be a local person?
The mechanical contractor who Carrier is using, Carrier is corporate, they will not be doing the work themselves. They're just going to be bidding the job and kind of managing it to some degree. I think the local contractor who they list as Southern Coastal Mechanical.
Are they reputable? Southern Coast?
So before today, or before the bid was open, I had never heard of Coastal Mechanical. And please correct me, I am not saying the right word of the name of the contractor. I'm not stating the name correctly. I think it's Southern Coastal, but I'm not too sure. I haven't. So what we did is we called the references. The projects that they list are by no means
Coastland?
as big as the
Coastland.
one we're doing. Coastland Mechanical?
He's saying it's
Coast-
Coastland.
Coastland Mechanical
Coastland Mechanical from Los Fresnos.
from Los Fresnos.
Coastland Mechanical.
The projects they list are by no means as big as the one that they're bidding on today. Not to mention, they're actually recommended to get 2 based on the rankings. So, I want to leave it up to you all. I want to tell you what we received and leave everything on the table so that collectively we can make a
I
recommendation.
wanna leave it up to you, you're the engineer.
Yeah, I already gave you my recommendation, Mr. Castillo. I don't have the
Your
experience with
partner
them.
was there when it was discussed. You were not there.
I was not there.
In
My
a project
partner,
like this, you should have been there.
I apologize. I just quoted Dr. Rivera. But we were there to rank the bids based on the criteria. We're here to present the bids as they were ranked. And that's where our recommendation comes from. Yes, and I support my engineer because what we were doing there, we were ranking them. And if you rank them, they do come out in that format. I just don't recommend that a small contractor get more than one job.
So what's the alternative then?
So the alternative is to go with the 3 highest ranked and negotiate with them. I believe that if you negotiate with them, I believe, it's totally out of my control, that you could come close to the original price. If price is going to be the determining factor.
Okay.
Who were the top 3?
It was, the top contractor was Carrier, Quantum,
DNF?
and maybe DNF. DNF is a very reputable contractor who's done many, many jobs throughout the valley for many, many years. Yeah.
So Carrier's the one that we would, if, approve the way we're moving forward, or as administration recommended, they would have the 2 jobs with that smaller contractor that you haven't
So-
dealt with or worked with.
So your main argument here is that you want to go with, you're pitching that we go with Carrier Corporation, right? The corporation itself. And then you're looking at Quantum and then DNF, and those 2 are local valley companies, and saying, right? You're saying kind of like not give it all to one carrier, not give it all to
So-
one, but that they bid on it. That's what this is my argument here. Carrier Corporation, they bid on this project, right? They obviously already are committing themselves and establishing themselves, and they're probably gonna use local contractors they feel comfortable with and to install their units. If we go that route, either way you look at it, you're looking at about losing $700,000 on each project, okay? I'm not telling you who has what, but the spread, just Carrier, with the 2 contracts that Carrier has, you're looking at almost a $400,000 loss and to $1 million loss. And that's for each one. So all in all, we're gonna lose almost $2 million, 1.5.
No, that's,
That's the numbers on the spread. And we have a very, very distinct process. Dr. Rivera and the team got together, they did their rankings, and I brought that process here today, so that people understand that it wasn't just a quick rankings. They have online submission systems. They have the personal login forms that they give us to review. They give us a tabulation sheet that's used and the criteria that's used by each company according to their packets that they submit. They have the committee total sheet so we can see their rankings to see if there's any type of red flags or anything like that. And then from there, you're talking about monitors, the staffing that we put there to make sure that that process is done properly. And that's built off of our forensic audit in the past of how we modified that. Then you're talking also about the purchasing, we have a purchasing employee there to also this non-voting and monitoring and making sure and facilitating that meeting. And then you're talking about the members that are there to actually do the ranking themselves. And then we move into, the 9 applicants. Those 9 applications, I think 7 were online, 2 were actually manual submissions. All that's dated and noted. I mean, this is a very clear process, right? I can't make a decision based on, and I don't think that they can do it. I don't think that they would apply if they couldn't follow through. And we were talking about Carrier Corporation. We're not talking about a local subcontractor or a company that doesn't know what they're doing. This is an actual corporation that's way larger, multiple times larger than we are.
Are they bonded?
Yes, they are through here.
Yeah,
I'm looking.
I mean, it's gonna be real hard for me to, a pill to swallow to say, I don't think they can do it, but let's spread it out to the locals, and then yet we're gonna lose about $1 million to $500,000 on each project, depending on which one they get. It's really tough, and I'm not sitting here to lose. We have a responsibility to the taxpayers. The system's built in it for a reason with its fail safes, and I respect your opinion 100%, but I just don't think that the company would put themselves in an area where they wouldn't be able to follow through, especially since it's the actual company itself, the carrier submitting the packets. I'm assuming that they have the resources.
So Mr. De Los Santos, rank number 1 will still get the first school. Rank number 2 will still get the second school. Rank number 3 would go to the 3rd highest ranked, which would be a difference of about $700,000 to $800,000 just for that one particular job. However, there's negotiations that could be done beforehand so the price could come down. I'm not in no way rejecting the rankings. I think there was a criteria and it was followed to the dot. There was no inconsistencies whatsoever, as far as I can tell. So I respect the rankings. It's just me personally, from my personal experience, if you ask me if I work with Carrier, Carrier has never bid any one of my projects, and I have never worked with this contractor. That's where this recommendation is solely coming from.
Right. And I think, I mean, in my personal opinion, we're open for business, And this is a reputable company. I think I just don't see them I don't see why we want to go through a third party, because you're paying an upcharge. That's what you're really doing. They're still going to use the same units, because we would still be moving forward and still using the same manufacturer, right? Because we're talking about the actual units being placed, loaded, and mounted on the systems, correct?
That's correct.
Right.
They're
So
not gonna
why
deviate from the
are we
plans.
going to pay a third party? I'm not going to pay an upcharge, you know? I just don't see the logic there as far as going that route.
Piggybacking off of that, and so the quantum mechanical contractor that says the brand is Train, so it's not Carrier, or is it Train as well? Or is it
So,
Carrier too?
so, yeah, it's trained on that
Trained.
particular.
So we're gonna have 2 schools with Carrier and 1 with Train?
Well, depending on what they get, because one school would have Train, and then the other one would have the Daikin, right? They would switch over.
So,
And if I may, trustee Los Santos
Yes.
and trustee Castillo. So, yeah, so we're perfectly comfortable with either of the equipment that's being provided. As a matter of fact, that's the way the bid proposal was set up for them to give us pricing on different brands of equipment, knowing that equipment, it's all acceptable with us
And you're
to
good
try to
with the
create that
controls and stuff?
competition. Yes, yes. So again, we feel comfortable with the way the rankings were done and the bids, the way they came out. Again, you know, if we go out and select a contractor that's $800,000, $900,000 over and try to negotiate, it's still a gamble. There's no telling where that negotiation is gonna.
Yeah, they're all a gamble,
We
right?
can't deviate from the bidding, this is unless we rebid it ourselves, and we don't wanna do that.
Right.
So I'll just make a motion to accept the recommendation, from the administration.
Sorry.
You had Mark already.
I already made the motion, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
And the only reason I'm saying that is though too, is I don't know if I'm really making myself clear on my point of view, is that why am I gonna pay more and to a third party, you know? And there's already a process in there. We have Dr. Rivera here. This is his first rodeo. And the system is there, right? And it's just, and I respect your opinion 100%, but that's a very costly suggestion to say, well, I just don't feel they're gonna make it or be able to follow through it, but it's gonna cost us, you know, 1.5 to 1.7 million more. I said, it's just, like for me, the numbers, it's just bad business for me on my end, right? That's my opinion. And I can't go against that.
Yeah, I get your concern, Mr. Munoz as well. I've never seen Carrier Corporation kind of in my, what I do in my work, but I'm not directly with the construction stuff. But I guess the only thing I would state is just make sure you keep on both of these recommendations on Carrier and Quantum Mechanical. I've worked with Quantum Mechanical before in other districts, and we need to keep on. And so yeah.
So on the right up here, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
On the right up here, it says, you know, we're gonna, administration will start negotiations. What negotiations, is it for final, best and final, or what's, warranties? What's the
Yeah,
negotiations?
So everything that's gonna be part of the agreement and the contract with them is up for grabs as far as the negotiation, Dr. Rodriguez. And that includes the price and anything else that we deem, you know, timeline and what have you. Anything that's gonna be part of the contract is up for negotiation.
Subcontractors too?
That's absolutely
You know,
right.
so
It's all part of the package as
If
well.
it's something that, you know, maybe if we can ask them to maybe, you know, use a different subcontractor, you know,
That's
is that something
part
that
of
you
the
can negotiate
negotiation
there?
as well, Yes.
Okay.
So we need to come up with an agreement with that, contract negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
And should that not happen, that's why the verbiage is in there in the agenda item, then we move on to the next and the next and so forth. We've never had to do that a few times before. Rarely do we do that, where we have to move on to the next contractor or the bidder. But we feel confident that.
Okay,
you know,
just so
come up
that they can know that, you know, we just do have that concern of maybe being overwhelmed with the two jobs, if there's any way where, you know, they can, you know, split up the work, you know, and if, you know, that would be good.
Because
And that's part of the process.
can I clarify something, piggyback off of him? So you're saying you don't know the subcontractors yet that they're gonna use, or they already
We
submitted
do.
that?
We do for
Okay.
Carrier, for Quantum,
Okay.
Quantum hasn't disclosed those.
Quasi has disclosed,
Right.
okay.
So again, that would be part of the negotiations, and once we get those contractors, then we negotiate and make sure that they're using somebody other than, you know, whoever Carrier is using just to make sure that we alleviate the concerns of having the same top contractor doing all three schools, right?
Correct. Okay.
I guess I'll just close up with my thoughts or discussion, because I work in the construction field now every day, and I see how delays happen all the time. Delays are, you know, time is money for this. And references are important too, and that's why we have them. And it makes me a little weary to think that we're gonna have somebody doing 2 schools who doesn't really have the references and the experience, because experience is also very important. Because giving them 2 schools, like he just said, if they're delayed on one, the other school's waiting and they don't have much experience, so it makes me a little scared.
But who's saying they're inexperienced? That's why I don't see
The
them in packet.
references, they went through the
They
references.
submitted their similar projects, and none of them were of this scale. The biggest project they've done is about 600,000.
Right, but we didn't see that in, that's what I'm saying. You're saying that they're inexperienced, but we didn't have that information in that
Well,
packet.
because we
No,
gave it to the
it's on the bid-
administration
it's on
to
the
rank.
bid that they
It's in the
submitted.
bids?
Yeah, it's in the bids for administration, that's
Yeah.
one of the
Why- I saw
criteria.
the breakdown, but it's not in detail to say that they didn't
So
have the equal
if you didn't
profiles.
receive the
That
bids,
wasn't on
maybe
there.
you can see the bids, yeah. They list the projects that are similar.
That's what makes me a little scared, because I work in the construction. I see this happen all the time, where we get these charges with delays and change orders and this and that, and they're gonna be in charge of 2 schools. It makes me a little nervous, it really does. I don't know.
Well, I
Fol-
think if
followed
we
up
can,
with-
if we can, ask them, just maybe not give that the 2 schools, I mean, at least, negotiate that and see if that's an option.
What were you gonna say, sir? You have the floor. I saw you over there reacting, so what were you gonna say, please?
So when we vet the companies,
Yes.
they do share their references. These are other Valley school districts that use them. Sharyland, Brownsville, Harlingen. They're doing projects that was designed for them. It just happened to be that they're smaller projects than ours, but they are doing the similar type of scope. In other words, I'm taking out a bad one, put in a good one. I may have to redesign the system. Some of them are just take out the old, put in the new, no engineering as much is needed. But this company, Carrier, is doing business with large school districts. And so maybe not necessarily to the scope of what we have our needs, which is 3 major campuses, but they are doing work for other school districts. We call those school districts, we talked to their staff. We heard, we were able to talk, I think, with 4 different school districts. Those 4 gave high remarks.
Did you call Edinburgh?
They didn't have them as a part of their scope or as part of their references. We called Harlingen, we called Brownsville, we called Los Fresnos. Oh, no. La Jolla, I'm sorry. So we did reach out to make sure that this company can do that type of work. The project, I know we were talking about, they start the same day. In other words, as soon as we award, they said on their contract, we will do this and finish in 315 days. If they don't, there goes liquidated damages. In other words, they pay a penalty for not finishing on time.
And that's Carrier.
And that's Carrier. All of them did share how many days that they are gonna take to do this project. Once we sign the contract, that's set. In other words,
How much you guys gonna do liquidated damages for? 500 a day or 1,000?
We're looking at about 500 for this type of job.
I mean, time is of the essence, but we also want quality. We don't want something to be done quick and just to finish, and there's several factors here that
So we have
Worrying.
provisions, protection provisions in the whole process. And again, the payment performance bonds that we need to get from them, and it's standard practice that we get those and required. And then we've got liquidated damages as well that will entice them to make sure that they finish on time. Otherwise, they'll get penalized for that. Again, we're looking at the inspections that we do, our own staff in-house, that we send them out while the project is going on to make sure that the things are being done properly and expeditiously.
Just stay on them. I mean, look, we can't change the ranking. We just can't. The ranking is what it is. It looks like it was mostly based on price, which is fine. But just keep supervision on them to make sure there's no hiccups, and let them know that change orders are not gonna be looked upon very kindly. Because they bid it pretty low.
I'm so curious, right? 'Cause this is our first run, right? So I'm listening to everybody, and I like to kind of put myself in their shoes, but I'm very curious here because you're talking about Carrier. Like, is Carrier a small company, sir? I know what Carrier is, but just a clarification, is it? What's the size of that?
Carrier is what they're using to bond.
Right.
Carrier is not going to be doing the work. You're not
Right,
going to see
I know, I
Carrier
know.
trucks.
That-
Matter of fact, they're not even proposing to use Carrier equipment on this project.
But why did they say manufacturer Carrier then?
It's the entity who's bidding the project.
Okay.
It's gonna be who they get the bonding from.
So what are they gonna be placing them then?
I think they submitted Daikin, if I'm not correct, and
Carrier is Carrier.
Carrier is Carrier, sir. It's, yeah, it's on there. The manufacturer's Carrier. So, but I'm asking you, is Carrier a low-quality machine? Because I know that we use them in residential, and you really don't find them in too many residential homes because of the cost. They're expensive. So are they cheaper? Are they cheaper for commercial? Because in residential areas, they're very expensive. That's why you go around a neighborhood and see how many Carrier machines you see that you don't, because they're more expensive to install. So is the commercial the opposite?
they have
low
the
quality?
option to choose Carrier. I think they've listed there. I thought it was another contractor.
No, they listed Carrier. Carrier listed Carrier. You see,
But-
what I'm trying to do
but
is I'm just trying to find this
Is that
project, this
information
process.
accurate on our
So-
paperwork?
Yes,
It does match?
yeah.
Okay.
The automated systems are all the same, but the manufacturers and the equipment that they're installing is different. And just so the public understands why I'm just pushing this so much, it's because, they did a great job. The district did a great job, the committees, the documentation, the processes, the transparency. They did a lot of work. And I just don't see how we're gonna argue, well, let's pay another million or let's pay another 700,000 to go local. And yet, for what? Because you're going through a third party. That's the argument here. It's like, we gotta understand it, spend it like it's yours. Spend it like it's coming out of your pocket. And really think about that cost, because I don't think Carrier would have jumped in. And even though, and we know they're gonna subcontract locally, but that's on their responsibility. They already made the commitment at the time, they're gonna pay the penalties, and plus the equipment is, I'm assuming, unless I'm wrong, because in residential, it's a high-level grade machine.
No,
And many
like
people
all the
listening probably can
companies-
go to their closet and won't see that. They'll see Rude, Ream, or God forbid, anything less, right? But most of them won't find Carriers there at home because they do just cost more. It's more expensive. So I don't understand how they gave an astronomically great price. They're number one. The second person behind them on both projects is about, in one case, almost 600,000, and the other one's about 700,000 below that. And then if you go deeper, you're talking about millions. There's some people in here that bid that were in the millions higher. So, I mean, it's a great deal. I just don't understand how this keeps going back and forth. And then the administration, like I said, Dr. Rivera, and they just did an outstanding job, in ranking this. And I'm just trying to find the argument here to keep wasting time.
I don't think there's an argument. I think we're
Well,
just.
there is, because they're saying everybody's worried that, I don't think they're gonna make it, and maybe, go to Quantum and pay 500,000-600,000 more? I'm just trying to find the logic.
The
Or
DNF.
So,
But just make sure, don't accept any low-grade sub from Carrier. Because, like you said, they're not gonna do the work, they're gonna sub it out. So make sure they have a high-quality sub that you guys are comfortable with and keep on.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, it's important to note it and to understand that our contract is gonna be with Carrier. Their subs are gonna be responsive to them, and they're gonna have to be responsive to us, because that's the contract that we're gonna draft is gonna be with them.
But we could still have some influence on that.
Absolutely.
Or y'all can, not us.
That's part of the negotiations, absolutely, yes.
That's what negotiations are very important, so yeah. All right, are we all good? Okay, we'll go ahead and take it to a vote. Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar? Aye. Trustee Castillo?
Aye.
Trustee De Los Santos?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes, and that was for item 4B1 and 4B2.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will keep an eye on that, very close eye on that. Or Dr. Rivera will, and his staff. Okay, 4C, discussion and possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval of, number 1, administration's ranking recommendation for the synthetic turf installation project for the baseball and softball fields at Weslaco High School and Weslaco East High School, CSP number 25-08-06. And also number 2, to authorize the administration to negotiate and approve the contract.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
4-1 and 2.
I second.
Okay, and will we be naming,
Hill
who?
Turf is Weslaco East, and Hellas is Weslaco High.
All right, we good with that? Any discussion?
That's who the coaches want, right?
Coaches, that's what you want? All right,
all right.
we're good. Go and take a vote. Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar?
Aye.
Trustee Castillo?
Aye.
Trustee De Los Santos?
Aye.
Motion passes for 4C1 and 4C2. We'll go on to 4D. Discussion and possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval of a procurement method of construction for the Weslaco High School Fire Alarm System Upgrades Project. We have 3 items here. Number 1, Board of Trustees determination of a procurement method of construction that will provide the best value to the Weslaco Independent School District for the project. And then I'll just stop there so we can make one by one.
I'll make a motion to go with the recommendation of the administration to go for
CSP?
competitive seal proposal.
Okay.
Authorize the administration to rank the proposals and then to approve the criteria and points to be ranked.
You have a second?
For ranking the proposals.
Second?
Okay, any discussion on this? No discussion. Okay, so the motion was, number one, to go with the competitive seal proposals. Number two, to have administration rank the proposals. And number three, to approve the criteria and points as they are on the proposal. We'll go ahead and take it to a vote. Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar?
Aye.
Trustee Castillo?
Aye.
Trustee De Los Santos?
Aye.
Motion passes for 4D, 1, 2, and 3. 4E, discussion and possible action for the Board of Trustees to consider approval on the administration's recommendation of a firm to provide engineering services for the Weslaco High School Fire Alarm System Upgrades Project.
Recommending Ethos Engineering.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Okay, Mr. De Los Santos had the motion, and a second, Trustee Rodriguez. Any discussion? All right, we'll take it to vote. Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar?
Aye.
Trustee Castillo? Aye. Trustee De Los Santos?
Aye.
Motion passes. On to 5, closed meeting to discuss. 5A, personnel matters, Texas Government Code 551.074. 5A1, Human Resources Department. 5A1A, personal matters, discussion regarding superintendent's recommendation of certified personnel and non-contractual personnel. 5A1B, discussion regarding superintendent's recommendation on resignations or retirements of certified professional and non-contractual personnel. Number 6, consultation with attorney regarding A, pending or contemplated litigation, B, settlement offer, or C, a matter in which the duty of the attorney of the Weslaco Independent School District under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. And 6D, a matter in which the duty of the attorney of the Weslaco Independent School District under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. It is now 6:10, and we will meet in closed session. Open meeting, it is 6:37. 7A, possible action if necessary on items discussed in closed meeting. 7B, discussion and possible action regarding superintendent's recommendation on employment of certified personnel and non-contractual personnel. And then I'm just gonna do all the other ones. 7C, discussion and possible action regarding superintendent's recommendation on resignations, retirements, and certified professional and non-contractual personnel. Do I have a motion?
Motion approved?
Okay.
Second?
All right, go ahead, take it to a vote. Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
Trustee Cuellar?
Aye.
Trustee Castillo? Aye. Trustee De Los Santos?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes for 7A, B, and C, and now we are at 8, adjournment. It is 6:38 PM and we are adjourned.
So moved.
Oh, yeah.